All right, sociology students, Tree Hall here, and the purpose of this video is to help you on the Unit 3 essay or writing project, and you will be writing about family structure in different countries. So, fairly straightforward essay, but I thought I would put this out there to just kind of help you organize this, and I promise you that if you watch this video, you will walk out of here with a solid plan of attack on writing your essay. So let's go ahead and move to the next slide. So here's the essay topic. In Unit 3, we learn about family systems. Choose a country other than the United States and research the typical family structure of that country. If you immigrated from another country or have relatives who did, this might be a good opportunity for you to learn more about your heritage, but you are free to choose any country you like. Write a 5-paragraph essay in which you answer these questions. Is the typical family structure same throughout the country? Do different cultures within a single country have different family structures? How are families in the country you research different from American families? Now, I think with this that these 3 items, at least the top 2, are confusing and can cause you to kind of maybe structure your essay in a wrong way. So there's also more information that is included in this that I want to show you. The one that I really want you to pay attention to is this bottom one. How are families in the countries you research different than American families? Because that's essentially what we're going to be writing on. And again, some of this information is a little confusing. Let's move to the next one. Okay, so in Unit 3, there's the topic again. Now, do you notice on this one, I included the external information. Topics you might want to write about are marriage ceremonies, marriage form, mate selection process, divorce, gender roles, and the roles of children. In this topic, the question is not immediately clear unless you consider the point of the unit. You're learning about family systems, and in different countries, families run differently than the United States. So here is the question. How is a family in whatever country or culture that you pick different than one in the United States? Now, it's always important to turn the topic into a question with a question mark, and there are 2 reasons why this is important. One, it clarifies what you're going to be writing about. This is an essay about family, particularly family in a different nation other than the United States. So the first step to answering this really is picking a country and then researching family life in that country. The second reason that this is important, an important step in writing an essay, turn the topic into a question with a question mark, is because your answer to this question is your thesis statement, which is going to appear in your intro paragraph, and your entire essay is going to revolve around that thesis statement. So you should have a thesis statement in the intro paragraph that says family in blank is different than family life in the United States because or by, and then you should suggest some reason or reasons, and actually probably better to suggest reasons, which will become your main points. So it's important to just take a moment to write that question down and to consider this. And also, again, kind of conceptually, this is an essay that is about a different family, a family different than in the United States. So take a moment to kind of consider that. Hey, once you've done that, the next step is organizing your essay. First, you want to choose the nation that you want to talk about. So I gave you a couple suggestions here. Look up family values in whatever country. Let's say you want to write about China. So you would go to the computer and you type family values in China or family traditions in China. Make sure to get 2 to 4 sources. This isn't one that you typically go to Wikipedia for, but it's going to be very, very easy to find information on this stuff. Now, as you research, ask yourself, what are the main differences between family in this culture and in the United States? Because that's the thing. We just kind of think that everything runs the same, but different countries have different approaches to some of the same things that we do very differently here in the United States. So that's something to kind of consider. Okay, now within the essay topic, there were some suggestions here. It said topics you might want to write about: marriage ceremonies, marriage form, mate selection process, divorce, gender roles, roles of children. Another one that I didn't put on this list, but I really think you probably should consider this, is the structure of the family itself. See, in America, we are used to what is generally called a nuclear family. Typically in America, under one roof, you only have mom, dad, and the kids. In some countries, under the roof, you have mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, cousins, kids, uncles, aunts. I mean, you might have a much bigger family living under one roof. So family structure is definitely one. Now, it was mentioned in here that this is a 5 paragraph essay. The other thing that you need to consider whenever you write an essay is this a stylized piece of writing. An essay is always made of 3 parts. That is your intro, where you tell them what you're going to tell them, your body, where you tell them, and then your conclusion, where you tell them what you told them. Now, 60 to 75% of an essay is its body, and typically because of that, and if you did about a 600-word essay, which is standard for about a 5 paragraph essay, that is going to be about a page worth of material. You have to break that into paragraphs. So when in most of the essays that we're writing here, they're 5 paragraph essays. It's fairly simple to consider your organization. You have an intro paragraph, you have a conclusion paragraph, and then you're going to have 3 body paragraphs. Sometimes you're given the organization of your essay and the topic itself, and in this particular essay it says topics you might want to write about. That is key to organizing your essay, because when you write a 5 paragraph essay, all you really have to do is come up with what your 3 body paragraphs are. So all you have to do for your 3 body paragraphs is pick 3 items from the list on the left. Now, you're not limited to that. You can talk about any 3 aspects of family. You could talk about, like, who is the head of the household. In American families, we kind of have like this. Of course, this is also marriage too. We kind of have this idea of like marriage equality and stuff. In some cultures, the man is absolutely the head of the household. Maybe in another culture, the woman is always head of the household. I mean, everybody does something different. So either way, you want to pick out 3 aspects of family life, and those 3 aspects become your body paragraph. Once you've done that, the next step is making an essay map. Now, an essay map just lists out what your paragraphs are. I promise you that this saves you so much time when you write. So this is a moment to maybe pause this and write yours out. You'll notice that on the right it says intro paragraph, MP1, that's main point 1, MP2, MP3. That's also body paragraphs. So I just kind of put them different. And sometimes I write body para 1, body para 2. Other times I write MP because it's shorter. Now remember that your entire essay answers this question: how is a family or culture in the country or culture you pick different than one in the United States? So I chose marriage form, divorce, and gender roles. That's another one that's different. Many cultures, there is no such thing as divorce. The only way you get out of marriage is death. And so that's something that in America we would go, what? That's crazy. So that's one I chose. Gender roles is another one that's interesting, because those could be very different in different cultures. What I would suggest to you for picking your body paragraphs is look at the material that you have for your country and see what has the most and easiest to write on materials there. These will appear. A good essay map has 1 or 2 words for each paragraph. That's it. If you have this, it's fairly simple. All my marriage information goes in that first body paragraph. All my divorce information goes in the second. All my gender roles goes in the third. And so I don't stray outside this. Okay, once you've made an essay map, you're now pretty much ready to write. So the next thing that you want to do is start with your intro. Intro and conclusion detail. Don't forget that your intro, first paragraph of the essay, has to do 2 things. 1, it has to introduce readers to your topic. So start by introducing readers to the country or culture you are talking about. It's important to identify that. Then you transition to marriage and family. And again, keep in mind that a good intro is about 5 or 6 sentences. The intro finishes with the thesis statement, which is the answer to the topic question. By the way, many people often put the topic question in the intro. Wrong. Don't do that. You have to have an answer to the topic question in intro. You don't put the question itself. So you want to do that. Again, 5 to 6 sentences. So start by introducing your readers to the country and culture. Do that for 2 or 3 sentences. Then transition into family, and then finish with that thesis statement. So marriages or families in Russia are different than families in the United States because of their marriage customs, their notions on divorce, and how gender roles are different in that country. Do you see how you start with Russia? Russia lives, it's part of above Asia, blah 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 blah. And you've got that. Then you transition down to that. Now, your conclusion, which is a restatement of your thesis, also has to do two things. One, remind the readers about your topic. And in this case, it's the other nation and her family structure in that culture. And then you have to restate the thesis statement. So remember, your conclusion is very much like your intro. You just do that at the very end. You look back at the intro, and that's what will help you with doing that. Next, let's move to the body paragraph detail. Now, remember, you're answering one question, right? How is a family in whatever culture or country you pick different than one in the United States? Well, one way to look at your body paragraphs is that your body paragraphs must each address the same question in a topic specific way. Take a look at those three questions in there. And the first thing that you're going to notice is that they look very, very similar. They're almost identical. That is correct, except that you notice the word is different. How is marriage in whatever different in the United States? How is divorce in whatever? How are gender roles in whatever different in the United States? So that is important. When you think about your body paragraphs, remember that each body paragraph is a one paragraph answer to the topic question, but in a very specific way. Marriage, divorce, and gender roles are all elements of family. So you're really asking that question, but you're asking about specific pieces of it. That's kind of what your body paragraphs do. Let's take this a step further. More body paragraph detail. Don't forget that each body paragraph must answer the topic question, and it must be 6 to 8 sentences long. Each body paragraph must do two things. Number one, describe the topic, the specific facet of the family or the other nation. So let's say I'm talking about marriage in China. I'm going to actually describe what marriage is like in China. Who marries them? Do they go to a church? Do they get married in their homes? I remember reading once about something in the wedding ceremony in rural China. The father would take this vase and fill it with water, and once his daughter got married, they would marry in their father's house because that was literally the last time that that daughter would ever spend the night under her father's roof. They didn't do divorce in rural China. Once that woman crossed the threshold of her father's yard, the father would take this clay jar that it was specifically made for the wedding ceremony, that was filled with water. He would drop it onto the hard ground that she just crossed, and of course it would break and all the water would spill. And it was symbolic. It talked about how that woman could never pass back into that family again. His daughter was now part of someone else's family, not his. It's weird in China. In rural China, your daughter-in-law becomes part of your family, but your own daughter is only your daughter until her teenage years. When she gets married, then you basically never see her again. Very sad for me because I like my daughter. So just something to think about. You're going to describe. That's the kind of stuff you're getting from your articles. Now, the second thing that you have to do, although, again, you don't have to do this that much because all of your readers are American, or I'm American, I'm going to be reading this. I know how it works in the United States, so you don't have to have a huge amount of this. But if you are running out of room, or you need to stretch out, you need to explain how this is different than the United States. So, like for example, if you're describing how you're a culture where they don't really do divorce, well, then you can add a sentence or two saying in the United States, women can get divorced anytime they want for these reasons, or people can get divorced, and you can break that down. Again, some cultures they don't do that. Now, the important thing here, a good body paragraph is 6 to 8 sentences long. If you have to do two things, that means you do 3 or 4 sentences for one thing, 3 or 4 sentences for the other. So that's something to think of. If I can't stretch something into 3 or 4 sentences, that means my other needs to be longer. I am going to warn you, I do actually mark you down if one of your body paragraphs is significantly shorter than the others. Your body paragraph should be about the same length. So that's pretty much everything. At this point, I think you're ready to go. So something to remember. Remember, you're answering the question, how is a family in blank different than one in the United States? Your essay must, A, address the topic, so you need to explain how it's different. It must be 5 paragraphs, and it must be 600 or more words. So those are things, this is how you're being graded. Don't forget your essay map. You've got an intro, 3 body paragraphs, and conclusion. You want to pick one aspect of family for each of your 3 body paragraphs. And if you do that, you should be good to go. So if you need more help for this, please let me know. Just give me a call, or I hope that this was helpful. Take care. Bye-bye.